You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From PG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, C. Wall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's C-Wall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you're not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. See all and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and I am your host, C-Wall, checking in as I do each and every single week to give you all of the information and the latest and greatest news on the Washington Commanders. You all, I see everyone is already checking in. And before we say hello to everybody, and before we get into all of the specifics, you know I have to give you all the drill. This is a live Bowie television recording. Everything we say and do here, for the most part, will be televised on Bowie television. That is Verizon Fios channel 11 and Comcast Xfinity channel 77. If you are local to the Washington metropolitan area, each and every single day, from 1:30 to 2:30, you can catch it all right there on Bowie television. Y'all are already checking in. You already bringing the energy. Have you hit the love button? Have you hit the love button? Have you shared the show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends? I see that Damon is checked in. You know, Mazdak from the C-Wall Sports and Entertainment team has checked in. I see Joe Harris, Eric Jessup, my Pits and Push Sports Talk Radio brothers have checked in. How has everybody been? Is everyone okay? Have y'all taken an opportunity to say hello to the queen herself, Mama Waller? And of course, you have to say hello to Pops Waller as well, because he checks in and chimes in when he thinks no one is watching. But he's watching. He watches everything we're doing and saying on here, everybody. So listen, you all, wow, it's another Victory Monday. Now, isn't it? It is. It absolutely is another Victory Monday. And I have to say, I've done my fair share of smiling and giggling to myself throughout today on Victory Monday, because yesterday was a lot, to say the least. And while you all are chiming in, you definitely want to make sure that you are tagging in your Washington Commanders family so that they have an opportunity to engage, ask questions, make comments, because you might go ahead and get your comment on TV. That's an opportunity. So, hey, listen, we're going to go through what it is that we do. You know, sometimes we play the one-word game. Sometimes we talk about who your favorite players were from the game. And we're going to break down some of the after-game pressers, because I think all of that is important. And definitely when we have time toward the end, we'll close out a bit talking about what used to be the NFC least. I've seen a hashtag that's saying the NFC Beast, because as of today, currently, if the playoffs were to start, every single NFC East team would be in the playoffs. Wow. Okay. So with that being said, let's have some fun, shall we? Let's have some fun, some positive things, okay? So listen, what's your one word? And we're going to get into some specifics here. I do want to address at the top of the show as well the Sean Taylor Memorial, something that I shared with folks who may follow me on my personal page. I want to share it on the television show as well. But I want you, before all of that, drop your one word to describe how you are feeling. One word to describe Washington Commanders' win over the Atlanta Falcons. Joe Harris has already chimed in. He said defense. That's his word. Want to get some more of those one words in, and I think maybe mine might have been, I don't know. I had a little bit of fun. Yesterday was a lot. But Cameron Mingo's word is clutch. I see Damon's is inspired. Mama Waller's is fantastic. I mean, they on a roll. They're absolutely on a roll. And that's not one word. That's a couple of words altogether. But you know, they are playing with some grit, determination, resilience, all of the above. And you gotta love to see it. You have to love to see it. And it's catching the eyes of others. Like, wait, what is Washington doing over there? So we're going to talk a bit about that in a moment. Let me jump to this really quick. I shared this message on my personal social media page, and I wanted to share it here on the television as well, because there is so much being said about the Sean Taylor Memorial. And I'll give you all an opportunity to read this while I'm doing a bit of the voiceover on what's being shared. And hey, listen, I always like to, you know me, we're going to bring all of the transparency, all of the authenticity, because that is what we do with Seawall Sports and Entertainment and Bowie Television. That is what we do. And I even had to put myself on the spot in sharing this, because I had to be very just open and honest and saying, hey, look, I had to check myself in the moment, that if the memorial was fine with Sean Taylor's family, then it needed to be fine with me too. His family was very happy. I commented on my page, my colleague and one of my mentors in the industry, Donna Hopkins, spoke directly and engaged in a very frank conversation with Sean Taylor's father, and they were all very pleased. And I also wanted to mention this right here. It's just always remember to show grace and respect. This family is still grieving, just like other families that lose a loved one. And so keep that in mind when making certain comments publicly, because it's still very raw. It is still a very raw thing. And I wanted to make sure I took an opportunity to just acknowledge that, using myself as an example of someone who was there, standing right in front of the installation ceremony right there, and was expecting to see something and didn't see it, but it didn't matter what I was expecting to see because of the reactions of the family. And the reactions of the family is what makes all the difference, and that's what matters, and that's where we need to focus. So wanted to share that with all of you all here while we were on Coaching from the Couch. So I think that is the most important thing to remember for certain. Now, let's go ahead and drop in the chat, who are some of your favorite players from the Commanders' win over the Atlanta Falcons? You all know we're going to get into some conversation, and we're going to go down the list of who we thought were some of our favorite players, but we definitely want to mention and see if you all had some of those favorite players as well. So I'm going to just go ahead and show a picture of the whole entire offense, because we'll get into that in a moment. Also, because we'll definitely do some after game presser acknowledgments. And I see everybody coming in. I see B. Rob, Kendall Fuller, Brian Robinson, John Bostic. I'm seeing everything coming through. So, of course, you see the Taylor Heineke handoff here to Brian Robinson. Do I need to go back on my Brian? You already know how I feel about Brian Robinson, don't y'all? Everybody is well aware. Drop a love emoji, fire emoji, if you are well aware of how Seawall feels about Brian Robinson. And I'm laughing here because you don't have to say it anymore. Everybody is well aware. I wanted to go ahead because I had to, and I actually love this picture that Darrell Owens took of Antonio Gibson. I want to be clear something up. I think folks thought AG was hurt. He wasn't hurt. There wasn't anything going on. It was an opportunity for them to change some things, give Jonathan Williams some reps, which he did. And Jonathan Williams did amazing, by the way. But I always want to shout out AG because I give AG a hard way to go. But he has been phenomenal for this team throughout this season so far. Hello, John Bates. A tight end, touchdown, sighting, John Bates. Oh my goodness. This was an opportunity for me to smile in the press box. I was so happy to see him do that. I was like, oh, come on here, John Bates. We've been waiting for you. We're here. And so was he. Way to show up. Absolutely enjoyed that. At this point, I think this is Jamin Davis taking Marcus Mariota down. I'm pretty sure this is Jamin. And at this point, this was just a collective effort from the defense. Could never see too much of the defense. They have just been showing up and showing out in all aspects of the game. You got to take a look at this real quick, though, because I want to say something about Casey Toohill. And if I'm not mistaken, after this play here with Casey Toohill gave a little dance on the field. He wanted to break it down a little bit. That's when I knew they was having some fun. I said, okay, Casey's feeling it. And Casey has been a key contributor to this defense. Quiet is kept, but we're not going to be quiet about it. Not today, not on Coaching from the Couch, the Washington Commanders update. Casey's absolutely been a contributor for certain. Oh, right here. Darrell caught the moment, because I don't know about anybody else, but I want to see a love emoji or a fire emoji in the chat. If you got nervous when it looked like the Atlanta Falcons were going to score, and we were having some conversation, I have to take the pictures off for a minute. We were having some conversation in the media press box, and folks were like, let them score. You do this and do that. And I'm going to tell you what Seawall said. What Seawall shared and contributed to that conversation was simply this. If they want to be respected for real, as a defense, they will not let the Atlanta Falcons score. Don't let them score. You must not score. No way do you let them score. For what? Why should they score? No way. Who's going to do that? No. Do not let them score. This is your moment to say, we are not a gimmick. This is real life. And that's exactly what the defense did in making that huge play. Deron Payne on the tip, Kendall Fuller on the actual catch of the pick. Hey, listen, that was stressful. That was extremely stressful. And I see others have commented and said that they were stressed out too. This was a mess for a minute there. I was like, oh, no. But I said, you know what? Nope. Do not let them score. If this is who they say that they are, prove it. It's time to prove it. And they did. Are y'all getting excited again? Because I am. Can you tell? Oh, my goodness. It was so much fun. It was a good thing. I believe it was Mazdak just mentioned Derek Forrest. Defoe. Wow. We have literally watched Derek Forrest grow and evolve right before our very eyes. Here's one of the things that I will continue to say. It's all about progress. You want to see them do better every single week. As long as you're seeing the improvements, hey, we're good to go. Darrell was able to capture this moment. This was after the interception that sealed the game. I'm sure some of y'all saw the pictures they were taking in the end zone, but I'm gonna tell you, this defense was so happy. Y'all, going in the locker room and everything, there was a lot of smiles. Everybody was smiling, but it's rare that you catch Montez Sweat wanting to talk. And I just got to show these two amazing defensive linemen here, two of the leaders on the team, and Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne. Great moment captured by Darrell Owens here. Listen, when Montez happily talks to the media, that means it was a very good day. Very good day. Everyone is really happy. If Tez is talking to us, he might talk in passing. He's not rude. He's very kind. He's very gracious at all times. But when the cameras are in his face and people are asking him questions, it's not typically his thing. But he was very gracious with his time after the game, and everybody was really, really happy. So it was a good deal. It was a lot of fun. And the thing about it is, I want to go back to this before we start to really dig into the after game pressers. Everybody knows about the party in the locker room after the Eagles, after the Commanders beat the Eagles on Monday Night Football. Everybody knows about that. And everybody knows about this, league calling and coach having a conversation with the team. And, hey, everybody was happy when they beat the Texans, but they kept it moving. They acted like they had been there before. And that was a request from Coach Rivera. Act like you've been here before. So they absolutely responded and they acted like they had been there before. I also want to say this. They did the same thing after the Falcons win. Let me be clear. Everyone is happy. Everyone is smiling. Everyone is gracious with their time. Yes, but there's not a party going on. You want to know why? Because they are taking Coach Rivera's guidance seriously, in that they are acting like they are winners and they are acting like they've absolutely been there before. So, yes, smiles, happy, they're good, but they're ready to move on to the New York Giants, okay? So with that being said, you all hit that love button, drop a fire emoji if you are ready to get into some of the after game presser comments that I really want to focus on. So I really, I'm going to start out. I'm going to do this not in order. Not going to start out with Coach Rivera first. I am going to start out with Taylor Heineke first. Want to share with you all Taylor Heineke's response to the question from my colleague, Felix Trammell from Fox Sports 1340, about just his feelings on Coach Rivera. So we're going to start there first. Check it out here.
Taylor, I don't know if you've been asked this, but it was Coach Rivera's 100th win. Can you speak on what it's like to play for him, his belief in you as a player? Just speak on that.
Yeah, he means a lot to this whole team and this organization. I wasn't here when he was going through all the cancer stuff, but I heard a lot of stories where he would, go through the chemo and then still come to practice and be out there for the guys. And when you have a coach like that that's willing to, go out there and do that and show himself, even in the, what he was going through, it means a lot to us players. And again, 2 weeks ago his mother passed, and we got a huge win against Philly. My favorite locker room before this was in Carolina with him, and now it's here with him. And I think that it starts from the top, and all the guys in there love him. So for it to be his 100th one, that's pretty special.
I thought that was important to share, because in any time, and you all know how I am, anytime there's an opportunity to stamp what I tell you all each and every week about what is happening and what is going on in the current state of the locker room. I want to couple that message with what the players are saying and what they are meaning. They are not just, this ain't nobody's telling them to say this. This is a very real thing. Right now, this team, we're witnessing a few things, and then we want to move on to some more of the pressers. And that is, you're seeing a team that is improving each and every week. Remember, I'm big on that. You got to see improvements week to week. There must be improvements. No, it's improvements, right? Don't want to see the same thing you saw in July and August or even in September at this point because you're at the end of November. Improvements. You're seeing that. You're seeing a team that is rallying behind their coach and the coaching staff and responsive to that. Then you're seeing a team that is playing for each other and rooting on each other and encouraging and letting each other know, hey, you can win your matchup each and every time. I told you all a few weeks ago, this is a team that really believes they can beat the man on the other side of the scrimmage line. They do. They believe it. They don't. This is for real. They believe, they not scared. No fake. They believe it. Those are the things you want to see, especially at this point in the season, because there's still some major games coming up. The season is not won. The season isn't won until you win the Super Bowl. Let's just be for real frank. But just to see the progress, that's the mood you want. That's the core and the mode that you want as you're getting deeper and deeper into the trenches. It's a very positive thing. Positive thing. Up next, I want to share, and I have a couple things from Coach Rivera that I want to share. Of course, I have something on B Rob. So let's go to B Rob route. Let's see what I want to point out that B Rob had to share in his after game, a piece of his after game presser.
Take us through the touchdown catch and just kind of your thought process when you saw those couple defenders.
I mean, you catch the ball, you know, you got all that space, and, you know, you versus a defensive back, you got to win at least 80, 90% of the time. So, you know, I pulled the trigger, and it worked out well for me.
The mentality of this team is certainly becoming a tough-minded team, a tough team on the ground, and with you here, it's really picked up even more. Does it take some satisfaction in that you know your play is kind of helping set the tone for this offense?
I mean, I just do what I got to do to, you know, bring that energy to the offense, you know, whatever that takes, you know, if I got to be vocal or if I just got to go and, you know, be physical on the field. You know, we want to, you know, be that type of team. So, you know, we just got to continue to, you know, work on that, you know, be consistent in certain areas, and I feel like we'll be great.
And I don't know if you were watching the play, but the play where Duran tips the ball and Kendall picks it off, what are you thinking as they're, you know, right on the cusp of getting a touchdown?
I think that's just an example of, you know, how this team plays to the, you know, whistle, plays to the end of the game. And that was a very critical situation in the game where, you know, our guys made a big-time play. And, you know, that just goes to show, you know, that we have a group of guys that's going to literally play into the last second on the clock.
Brian, what did you think of the offensive line and how they performed today?
I felt like they was, you know, they got movement, you know, from the first snap to the last snap, and they got stronger as the game, you know, continued to go on. We had a few minor injuries on the line, you know, but those guys got back in and, you know, continued to roll. I feel like we got movement on their defensive front, you know, the whole game. You know, I was tremendously proud of those guys.
Brian, that DB on that touchdown play wasn't the only Falcons defender you put on his back. Is that just kind of a byproduct of the way that you play, or is that a decision you make in the moment as you're approaching the defender?
I mean, you know, I just play football. You know, I want to be a physical back. I want, you know, DBs to, you know, have to feel me and respect me. So any chance I get, you know, to, you know, impose my will on a defensive back or any backer, you know, I'm going to do that.
Listen, It's exactly what Mazdak has here. And I've shared that with y'all with their running back room. And they're getting better. Did I say that out loud? They're getting better. Right? And today, and this is going to be a perfect segue into what I wanted to share from Coach Rivera, which is primarily about the running backs. And it really is like, is Brian getting faster? I mean, we know that Brian, what he went through, right? But and that was my pick. That was my draft pick. And I'm sitting there at this point, I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, he's incredible. What's going on? You know, I mean, it's just all the things you want to see. Hold on, really quick. Check in, Commanders fans. A love button, a fire emoji. Are you excited yet? Are you excited yet? Are you okay? Is everybody all right? Is everybody watching the same game that I'm watching? Is everybody seeing the progress? Yes, there's absolutely some things that still need to be worked on, but I'm going to tell you all what Montez Sweat told us, and it was, hey, we got the dub. So I said, I'm going to take Taz's advice this week. We're not going to focus on it. We're going to take Taz's advice, okay? All right. Great segue. Definitely, absolutely. Real quick, before I move it, want to go into what Ron Rivera said about, not Ron Rivera, about, Ron Rivera, we're going to go into what he's saying about the running backs. Love the confidence from B-Rob when he said, when you got to match up against the defensive backs, you got to win that one. And he absolutely shows if you got a DB coming for him, he going to be ready for them too. He's absolutely going to be ready for them too. You got to love that energy and love that confidence. So here is a snippet of Ron Rivera talking about the running back room.
Performance was outstanding. I thought the whole running back group as a whole, you know, we with what we were getting from Antonio as a change of pace, and then Antonio also catching the ball in space. Unfortunately, he slipped on that one. That could have been a real big play for us. And then Jonathan Williams getting back into some of the action. That combination of guys has really given us, you know, a little bit of a spark as far as being able to run the ball. And kudos to the offensive line. I mean, they were giving us a lot of five-man looks up front as well, and yet we were still able to move the ball. So there's some really good things that did happen on the offensive side.
Is this what you were envisioning from Brian back in training camp?
Well, from Brian for the most part, and Antonio and Jonathan. I mean, you know, we kept those guys for a reason, you know, and that's kind of what we're looking for. Is we're looking for this type of tandem that, you know, that can grind it out. And if one guy's having a great day, you know, we can continue to hand the ball to him, and the other guys will play their role. And if it's vice versa, it works the other way, where the other guy's having a good day, then, you know, the guys play their role. And, you know, that's a big part of it. I mean, to me, it's really about that. You know, being able to have a guy that's ready to roll.
I guess specifically with Brian, the more he's played, where do you see the change in his game?
Well, I just think, again, he's running with more confidence, you know, and he's starting to get a little bit better feel as to cutbacks and you know, running with his vision. Again, he went through an awful traumatic situation, and he's really just kind of, I think, starting to show us what he's capable of.
Ryan, your 100th career win. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, what does that mean to you for this milestone, you know, looking back on your coaching career?
Well, it's kind of cool, you know, to get the opportunity to coach, first of all, that long, to get 100 wins. But I've been very fortunate because I've had a lot of good coaches that have worked with me and a lot of good players that have played for us. To be very fortunate to be in that position, and you know, I really do appreciate the ownership in Carolina for giving me the opportunity, and the ownership here for supporting me and giving me the opportunity to do things that we're doing.
From 1-4 to 7-5, how proud are you of this group of players? Because could have gone downhill, but instead they fought and climbed their way back.
And very proud of them, just because you know, the biggest thing that they've gotten to where they are right now is because, you know, they believe in what they can do. Okay, there's a lot of negativity that we've tried to get past, and we've tried to work past, and just constantly trying to tell these guys it's what they can do. They're a good group of young men. They really are. They work hard. They rally around each other. You know, they found a common bond and common thread, and that's to doing their job and being successful and winning. and they understand because it feels good, and they know they're more than capable.
From your view, how did the conditions and the rain impact the game?
I'm sorry, say it again.
The rain, how did that impact what you were able to do or trying to do?
Oh, I don't think it impacted that much. I really don't. I mean, kudos to them. Got to give them credit because of the way they came out. The way they used their quarterback a little bit more, I think, than what we had anticipated. We knew they were going to use him, but he was effective early on and did some really good things and got us on our heels a little bit. We were able to bounce back and settle in defensively for a while. I think offensively, once we got set and we got our footing a little bit offensively, and committed to the run the way we did, it really started to open some things up.
Listen, you all drop in the comments how you're feeling about that snippet from Coach Ron Rivera from his after game presser. I'm just going to go back to the point of just this room, the whole locker room. It's a good space. And I shared that with you all early on. I said, hey, listen, I like everybody. I like all of these people. Everybody, I like them. They're good, great group of young men. And it's amazing. The whole entire team and the staff of men and women on staff as well. It's just everybody's coming together and they're just exactly what Pitts and Push just said. They're playing with extreme confidence. And I'm hearing everybody saying this recurring message again of the momentum is real. I keep hearing it. The momentum is real. And I'm going to tell you, I noticed it. I noticed it the Minnesota game. And that's why I was so disappointed myself. And even Coach Rivera said today in his presser today, it was like he wanted to throw up when they lost that game. And I was like, me too, Coach. For real. And so, because they were just right there, right there. And just, and it's just, if you could get that game back. And Coach Rivera also mentioned if he could get the Tennessee game back. But for me, it was that Minnesota game. But I knew that the team wanted it just that bad. And they were going to come back. And they were going to roll. They were going to get it. And they are. And it's not an arrogance, it's a confidence. Like I said a moment ago, that they can beat their matchups and that they're going to win the football game. And it's just, I just can't say enough about the defense because I'm tough. I'm tough. And I still have some tough things that I want to say, but hey, Montez said it, got the dub. So I'm going to take Montez's advice and focus on the dub. And they did. And here's the thing. They made mistakes and still came up with the dub. That's big. Listen, we're going to close the show out right now. This Giants game is a big deal. Then the Commanders going to bye. I'm always weird and leery about bye weeks. Then they come back and play the Giants at home, which that game might be flexed, you all. That game might be flexed. I thought the league had already determined that it was going to stay on Sunday. They don't know when that game is going to be. You want to know why they don't know when that game is going to be? Because the momentum is real. And if the league is like, wait a second, this is going to go down to the wire in the NFC East. This is getting good. They're going to definitely flex that game. The one on the weekend of the 18th, once they're back, they, meaning the Commanders, are back from the bye week. Who knows what's going to happen? But I tell you this, the Commanders will be ready to play on Sunday. And I believe that the New York Giants will be ready to play on Sunday. Should be a good one. Should be a great one. And we'll all be there to be checking it out, watching it. I'll be in the stadium. Check in if you all will be there too, because this is going to be a good one. And you all do not want to miss that. And we're at the end of our show, and you don't want to miss this either, right? You don't want to miss the game. You don't want to watch Coaching from the Couch. You want to watch it all. And I appreciate it, you all. I love every single show. You guys bring your questions, your commentary, your energy, and it is most appreciated. You guys, listen, be safe, be well, and I'll be talking to you guys again soon.
You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From PG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, C. Wall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's C-Wall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you're not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. See all that we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.